Hello. Welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. Hope you're doing well. I have my little skeleton friend. I gave him a name last week. Whoops, what am I doing? And damn if I can remember what it was. I know it wasn't Skelly. It was something weird, and now, I can't remember. So maybe I have to rename him. But he's going to be keeping the lantern lit during spooky season. I have two of these just for fun because I have such like Halloweeny decor in this library anyway. Halloweeny, that's a new word I made up. I don't think it's original actually. That I thought I would add a few Halloweenish decorations during spooky season. Fully upon us now because today is actually a little cool, which put me in a tremendously better mood than I was last week when it was 95 degrees. I'm ready for it. I actually wore a little jacket today and I was so happy. I can't wait. So, yeah, let's get on with the show. So I do have a Creepy Crate unboxing that I'm going to do in a minute. And this is way overdue because they sent this to me last week. And if I don't do it, they'll probably stop sending them to me. I really appreciate it. And maybe there's some cool vampire things in it this month. But I wanted to do a quick report about Vamptember because I'm fully invested now. I've been reading some books and watching some movies. I've actually been very busy. I went back to work almost, I don't work full time, but for me it was like, it felt like a lot, just working part-time, like more part-time hours than I had done for most of the summer. The summer was kind of weird. I didn't work a lot and I went to StokerCon and that's all I can remember, really. I wrote some, I read some. I worked on Bookworms, which the new one's coming along quite well. And I did my podcast and stuff around the house, but it was kind of just one of those forgotten summers. I didn't even get to the shore yet, which I'm going to be doing that in October like I usually do. But anyway, I'm babbling. But I have been embracing Vamptember completely. So the first book I read was The Woman in Black. I mentioned this last video that it seemed really good. This is by M.H. Halidome, I guess is how it's pronounced. It's a novella reissued by This Press, Rediscovered Classics. I'm really glad this was rediscovered because I thoroughly enjoyed The Woman in Black. I had mentioned last time there were some negative reviews calling it misogynistic, and I don't know what those people are talking about, honestly. It was really a fun read. Yes, the main protagonist is a jerk. And he's a woman hater, but it's all just a justification of his own impulses toward love and sex. So in that way, he's a very Victorian character. It reminds me of the protagonist in The French Lieutenant's Woman. But that character, and I forget his name, the Jeremy Irons character, he is resisting this immoral character, French Lieutenant's Woman, played by Meryl Streep, who is this depressed, mad, she's insane, questionable morals, all that stuff. And the more he resists, the more he's seduced. That's how I looked at this book and this character. I'm probably making a bigger deal out of it than I need to, but I thought this was great. I highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. And it's also really kind of humorous. Now, I won't give any spoilers away, but it didn't quite have the satisfying ending I wanted, only because the whole time I'm rooting for the female vampire. I'll just leave it at that. It definitely has the bad girl and the good girl. Like a lot of books from that time, like Dracula. And speaking of Dracula, is there a bad girl in Dracula? I guess maybe the brides. But I just thought of the Mina character is just too good to be true, and quite boring, actually. I have been rereading Dracula, or I've been re-listening to it on Audible. And I think I have 2 versions. The one I'm listening to now is really good. The narration is great. They do all the voices. The Dracula voice is just wonderful. And this is weird. Like I guess, maybe it's a synchronicity or just kind of like a weird coincidence, but yesterday I was listening to it and I started it over from the beginning. I usually read or listen to that book every year. It's just like a thing. And the more I read it or listen to it, I don't think listening to is the same as reading, but definitely the more I get out of it and the richer it becomes and how much I love the language. So I was going to the grocery store and I was just at that part in the first part. I just listened to the first section where Harker goes to Transylvania. That whole section is just great. And the speech that Dracula gives about his noble race, it's such good writing, and it's such a good look into his character, because even though he has this refinement of this European gentleman, and he's trying to get with the English style of speech. He talks about that a lot, and mannerisms and that kind of thing. But underneath this is a very brutal character. He talks about being related to the Norse berserkers and their pagan roots, and how they conquered Europe and Asia and Africa and everywhere. It's a really great speech, and I listened to it. It's one of those things where I listened to it once and then I backed it up and I listened to it a couple more times, and I went in the grocery store, and when I came out I listened to it again. And I'm like, this is just such good writing. I just love it. And I think in the Coppola's film, Gary Oldman does do a little snippet of it, if I'm not mistaken. I hope that they did include it because it's so good. Anyway, the weird synchronicity is I decided to start the next book, which is Anno Dracula by Kim Newman. Beautiful copy from my friend Patrick, signed by the author. I read the Neil Gaiman, started it last night. So I read the Neil Gaiman foreword, and then I turned to the first page of the novel, and it's the speech that I just referenced. The one that just hours before I couldn't stop listening to and had to rewind and listen again and again and again. The speech is like an entire page and a half. We Ziegleys have a right to be proud, for in our veins flows the blood of many brave races who fought as the lion fights for lordship. Here in the whirlpool of European races, Ogric tribe bore down from Iceland, and the fighting spirit which Thor and Wotan gave them, and their berserkers displayed to such fell intent on the seaboards of Europe, aye, Asia and Africa too, till the peoples thought that the werewolves themselves had come. And it goes on and on and on. Sorry about the accent, but I just love it so much. It's so great. And I always root for Dracula when I read this book, and I always root for the vampire. So I'm looking forward to this. And I watched 2 vampy movies that I'll just briefly discuss. This one is Lust for a Vampire, also known as Love for a Vampire, also known as To Love a Vampire. Okay, we got a lot of titles here. I'm going to go with Lust for a Vampire because it was definitely a very lusty 70s film, early 70s, 1971, British Hammer horror film directed by Jimmy Sangster, starring Ralph Bates, Barbara Jefford, Susanna Lee, Michael Johnson, and I think she was a Swedish actress, Ute Stensgaard, probably mispronounced that. It was given an R rating in the United States for some violence, gore, strong adult content, and nudity. It is the second film in the Karnstein trilogy, very loosely based, on the 1872 Sheridan Le Fanu novella Carmilla. I think I've seen the first one, The Vampire Lovers. Anyway, it's a heck of a lot of fun. And yes, it's very 70s in that it's that kind of, lots of bare breasts and lots of bodice ripping kind of thing. I absolutely loved it. And I actually really got pulled into it. And there's plenty of like blue eyeshadow and kind of 70s bouffant hairdos. So when we first started watching it, Joe was watching it with me. We were both kind of giggling at the silliness, but then we both really got pulled into it, and it has a great ending. It was really good. A feast for the eyes. And then another very good film, Dracula Untold. This was, I think, on Netflix, a 2014 American action horror film directed by Gary Shore in his feature film debut. It's the origin story of the titular character rather than using the storyline of Bram Stoker's novel. And I thought it was a really great idea. In this adaptation, Dracula is the monster alter ego of historical figure Vlad III, or Vlad the Impaler, and starring Luke Evans and a couple other people that I didn't know. I thought this was really good. Really good. It kind of, it is definitely has like a good combination of action and horror. It kind of taps into the quote I was mentioning earlier. Before came the Dracula that we knew, he's fighting with the Turks and all of that history. And it has a lot of like CGI in it. Like he's always turning into like a swarm of bats. I thought that was really cool. It's a family drama. There's some romance. I wish I had seen this movie in the movie theater. I remember when it came out, maybe I just thought it wasn't going to be any good. I don't know. I need to take chances on newer films, but perfect for Vamptember. So I'm right in line with all my vampire stuff. So I will let you know next time what I thought of this book. So now on to the Creepy Crate unboxing. I hope you stuck with me so far. There's my trusty sword. It's always a satisfying sound. Okay, I'm excited to open this. Let's see what we got. I always give some fun packing material. Okay, again, very small print, so this might take a while. Maybe your high school bullies weren't werewolves, slashers, or witches, but were they really all that different? High school horror flicks. Oh, I guess this is a back to school September Creepy Crate. Good idea. High school horror flicks take the true terrors of our teenage years and turn them into scarily relatable tropes with far more gore. This back to school season, this August-September Creepy Crate, okay, a little late, but it's still September, is coming to remind you how lucky you are that you made it out of high school alive, forever traumatized, but alive. Okay, awesome. By the time I was in high school, I mean, when I was younger, and especially in junior high school, I was extremely shy, and I didn't really get bullied, but I wasn't like a popular kid, and I just was kind of a wallflower, if you can believe it. But then when I went to high school, I decided I needed to fix that, so I became a drama queen, and the rest was history. You know, I just really got into the drama club and did that. It was great. And in fact, I've been working on an idea. Carney's still coming. It might be pushed back another month, but that's another topic. But I have an idea for a high school drama club, specifically horror novel, that I will get to one of these days. Okay, but here we go with the crate. A chilling nude read. This is How We End Things by R.J. Jacobs. I have heard of this book. Wow, thanks, Creepy Crate. This is awesome. I probably won't get to it this month, but I have a lot of other books to read, but that's going to pull me back in. Or Dark Things I Adore. So those were two, and I'm glad I got that one because I definitely heard of it. Number two, the ebook, The Yearbook by Peter Lafranges. I have kept these cards because one of these days I'm going to download all those ebooks, I swear. Number three, Join the Clique Heathers Friendship Bracelet. Okay, this is fun. It's a little bracelet that says the Heathers. I haven't seen the play, like the musical, but the original film, it's good and it's very disturbing. I haven't watched it in a really long time. Teen Wolf. Oh no. 1980s style sweatband. Channel your inner beast when you hit the gym in your new Teen Wolf headband. A full body transformation has never been so easy or so hairy. This is fun. Do I have it on right? Okay. I don't know. What do you think? Is it me? I don't know if I've ever worn like a headband. Like, I used to wear them like this way, but not this way. I don't know. This is like I'm not feeling it right now, but maybe when I go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in a while. This will inspire me. Okay. Very cool. What's next? The faculty bookmark. Next time you run into an unidentified parasite in class, use this magnifying glass to identify its unhealthy origins. Be on the lookout for the alien queen. This is cool. And, you know, with my eyesight, it's very handy. I might actually use this as a bookmark for when I can't see. That's cool. I did see The Faculty. That was a fun movie. Gosh, I don't remember that, you know, specifically about it, but I remember I enjoyed it. Okay, next. Do you like scary movies? Magnet. With a penchant for terrorizing teens, Ghostface remains one of the most brutal slashers in film history. Your new Magnet will look great on your fridge and give everybody a scream when they go for the milk. That's definitely going on my fridge. I loved the original Scream. I think I watched the first two and haven't kept up with it that much, but I definitely thought they were good and scary. Like in that a little scary, a little funny kind of way. Those were really good. And last but not least, a Freddy pin. Oh, that's fun. If you say Freddy Krueger didn't cause you any sleepless nights, we just don't believe you. This pin of the razor blade covered glove he used to torment Nancy and her friends will haunt any who view it. I watched the original Nightmare on Elm Street recently, and it's such a great movie. It really still holds up in a lot of ways, and quite disturbing, quite scary. It reminds me of that really old kind of drive-in style of horror film that I love. So let me know in the comments below if you have any recommendations for vampy books or films. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye!